All right, so today we're diving into, uh, that idea that's always pushed on us, like work hard, get good grades, get a secure job, and you'll be set. But is that really all there is to building wealth? We're going to find out today. We're doing a deep dive into T. Harv Eker's Secrets of the Millionaire Mind, specifically Wealth File, #11. And it really challenges like everything we think we know about getting paid.
Yeah, it really turns that whole get a good job with a steady paycheck advice on its head.
Okay, so right off the bat, I'm kind of hooked
Yeah.
because there's a lot of appeal to that security, right?
hmm
Like knowing exactly how much is coming in every 2 weeks.
I
That's
mean,
like
yeah, absolutely.
comforting.
But what if you could trade that comfort for the potential to earn way more? That's what Ecker's saying rich people do. They focus on results. Results-based pay over time-based pay.
So you're telling me ditching the steady paycheck is the key to millions. That's kind of scary.
It's not about being reckless. It's more about understanding that security. Sometimes that can be a gilded cage. Like if you're always focused on that guaranteed paycheck, you're probably less likely to take risks. Go after those big opportunities.
Right. So how does that actually look in the real world, though? Like how do people get paid based on results?
Well, think about real estate moguls. They don't get paid hourly. Their income comes from the deals they close, the properties they develop. Same with entrepreneurs who build successful startups. It all comes down to the value they create.
So it's all about having skin in the game, believing in your ability to deliver and getting rewarded for it.
Exactly. Shifting the focus from just putting in the hours to actually getting results. And that can be really empowering, knowing you can directly influence your income.
This is making me think about that story Eker tells in the book about the PR consultant who was so insistent on getting a fixed monthly fee.
Oh, yeah. That's a perfect example of the security mindset versus the results mindset.
Let's break it down for our listeners. So this consultant wanted a guaranteed $4,000 a month. She promised at least $20,000 worth of media coverage. But when Eker offered her 50% of whatever she generated, which could have been way more than her asking price, she just refused.
She was valuing her time over her potential, that predictable $4,000 over the chance to earn way more.
Seems kind of counterintuitive. Why wouldn't you want to potentially double your income?
It's all about conditioning. We're taught to prioritize security and stability, even if it means leaving money on the table. It's like choosing to stay on the hamster wheel when there's a whole world outside of it.
Oof, that hamster wheel analogy. It really is like working hard and not getting anywhere financially.
Exactly. And that feeling of stagnation can be really frustrating, especially when you know you can do better.
So how do we break free? Isn't there a wealth rule #1 that says never have a ceiling on your income?
Yeah, that's one of Aker's big points. When your into is tied to your hours, you're putting a limit on yourself.
Okay, I think I see what you mean. Even with a high hourly rate, there are only so many hours in a day.
Right. Think about it this way. Imagine you have a pen business. Suddenly, you get a huge order for 50,000 pens. All you do is call your supplier and boom, the profits roll in.
All right. But not everyone's in the pen business.
Okay, so let's say you're a massage therapist and suddenly 50,000 people want a massage from you. Even if they're paying top dollar, you can only do so many in a day. You'll never meet that demand.
So is Eker saying we should all ditch our jobs and become pen sellers?
Not necessarily, but it's important to see the limitations of trading time for money, especially with personal service type businesses.
So how do we escape that trap?
There are ways to leverage yourself, even within those types of fields. Building a team, creating online courses, developing systems, finding ways to make money even when you're not actively working.
So finding ways to scale your impact and detach your earning potential from time.
Exactly.
But that shift to a results-based mindset, I mean, that can be intimidating. Security is comfortable.
Absolutely. And I think a lot of that fear comes from how we were raised and societal conditioning. How many times have we heard, when are you going to get a real job?
Oh my gosh. It's like anything that doesn't involve a steady paycheck is seen as less valid, less secure.
Right. And that kind of thinking keeps so many people stuck, trading time for money, even when they dream of something more.
But it doesn't have to be that way. Eker himself pushed back on that whole idea. When his parents asked him about getting a real job, he said, hopefully never. And what's interesting is his father actually encouraged him to work for himself.
His father understood the power of percentage-based income, building your own wealth instead of relying on someone else. And that's a big takeaway from this wealth file. It's about taking ownership of your earning potential.
So if we're not relying on a traditional job, what does Eker suggest?
Well, he's a big advocate for becoming your own boss, whether that's starting a business, working on commission, getting a percentage of revenue or company profits, things like that.
So for those of us who aren't ready to quit our jobs and become entrepreneurs just yet, are there ways to start incorporating this results-based approach, like within a traditional job?
Definitely. Ecker actually gives a few practical steps you can try, even if you're not launching your own business.
Okay, lay it on me.
One option is to negotiate. See if you can get a compensation plan with your current employer, something that includes performance-based bonuses.
So instead of just getting that fixed salary, you're tying a portion of your income to how much you actually achieve for the company.
Exactly. You're demonstrating your value and getting rewarded for it. Like, think about sales professionals. They usually have a base salary plus commissions based on how much they sell.
Right, that incentivizes them to go the extra mile,
Mm.
knowing their efforts will pay off.
Yeah. And even if you're not in sales, there might be ways to negotiate bonuses tied to certain goals or projects. Just have that conversation with your employer. See what different compensation models are possible.
It's about being open to new ways of structuring your income. But what if your employer isn't into those ideas?
That's where step 2 comes in, exploring side hustles and other ways to make money.
Ah, yes. The gig economy. So many opportunities to create your own income.
Exactly. Ecker mentions things like commission sales, network marketing, coaching, consulting, fields where you get paid based on results.
And with all the online platforms these days, it's easier than ever to start something, even while working full-time.
You got it. Online courses, freelance writing, virtual assisting. There's a whole world out there. It's about finding something that uses your skills and that you enjoy. Something that can bring in money outside of your 9 to 5.
This is really empowering, not putting all your eggs in one basket. But starting a side hustle, it's a lot of work, especially on top of everything else.
It definitely takes dedication, but the rewards are worth it. And remember, you don't have to dive in head first. Start small, maybe a few hours a week, and grow it gradually.
Finding that balance.
Exactly. And then there's a third option Ecker talks about, turning your current job into a contract position.
Oh, that's interesting. How would that work?
Basically, you go from being an employee to an independent contractor for the same company.
Same work, but different structure.
Right. And there are some advantages, like you usually have more flexibility with your schedule.
That's a big plus for a lot of people.
And there can be tax benefits, too. You can deduct business expenses.
So kind of getting some of the perks of being a business owner,
Yeah.
but still working in a familiar environment. But I'm guessing there are some downsides too.
Of course. You'd have to handle things like invoices, taxes, maybe even your own health insurance. So weigh those pros and cons carefully.
Making an informed decision.
Yeah.
But I have to say, all these options, negotiating bonuses, side hustles, going contract, it can be kind of overwhelming.
It's understandable,
Yeah.
especially with that ingrained idea of security, that steady paycheck. But what if that's actually what's holding you back from your true earning potential?
That's a good point.
It's about challenging those old beliefs about work and money.
It all goes back to that idea of aligning your income with your results, breaking free from trading time for money, and seeing that your earning potential doesn't have to have a limit.
Exactly. And it might seem scary, but taking those first steps towards a results-based approach can be really liberating.
It's about designing a life where your income reflects what you're truly worth, what you're capable of achieving.
That's the goal.
This has been so insightful. Yuka's ideas really make you think differently about work and wealth.
They do.
As we wrap up this section on becoming your own boss, what are some of the key things that make someone successful as an entrepreneur?
That's a good one. I think it really starts with believing in yourself, like having that strong sense of self-belief, believing in your vision even when others don't.
That unwavering faith.
Yeah. And then resilience is huge. Building a business, it's never easy. There are always going to be setbacks, challenges, times when you just want to quit.
You got to have that grit to push through.
Oh, definitely. Entrepreneurship, it's not for everyone. You need that inner strength to keep going when things get tough.
It's like they say, success is not final, failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts.
Yeah, I love that. And being able to adapt is so important too. Things change all the time in the business world. You got to be able to pivot, adjust your strategy, try new things.
Be willing to learn and evolve as you go.
Exactly. And of course, you need passion.
It makes all the difference. When you love what you do, it just fuels everything. Your creativity, your motivation.
Oh, for sure. It's what keeps you going when you hit those roadblocks. And you know, it's important to remember that these qualities, they can be developed over time.
So even if you don't feel like you have them naturally, you still work on them.
Absolutely. It's about having a growth mindset, pushing yourself outside your comfort zone, always learning and growing.
So it's not just for a select few, anyone can work towards it.
That's what's so great about Eker's message. He's not saying everyone has to become a millionaire entrepreneur, but he is saying we need to change our mindset. Stop just settling for a comfortable life and start actively creating wealth.
Taking control. And he gives us the tools to do it, whether it's negotiating a raise, starting a side hustle, going contract, or taking that leap into entrepreneurship.
Yeah, it all comes back to that idea of aligning your income with your results.
Breaking free from trading time for money and realizing your earning potential doesn't have to be limited.
Exactly.
This has been an incredible conversation. Eker's ideas really make you think differently about work and money.
I agree.
So as we wrap up this deep dive today, I want to leave our listeners with a final question. What can you start doing today to move towards a more results-oriented income?
Yeah, what action can you take, even if it's small, to start aligning your earnings with the value you create? Maybe it's having that conversation about a bonus, looking into a side hustle idea, or it's just shifting your mindset, starting to believe that you can create real wealth
It's about taking that first step.
and building the financial future you deserve.
And as Eker says, you'll never get rich working on straight salary for someone else.
So are you ready to unlock your true earning potential? The power is in your hands.
That's all for our deep dive today. Thanks for listening.